Rwanda to DRC, Uganda, there is trouble in the land. Mother Africa is weeping as we speak. It's been reported that in the eastern part of the DRC, Goma to be precise, the town of Goma, more than 770 people have been killed in renewed hostility between the forces, the government forces, and the M23 rebels in that part of the country. It's going to be a very, very important focus for us on the show today. We've talked about the United States. We've talked about crisis in the Middle East. When there's something as huge as this happening in the part of Africa, it's just very important that we also bring it to the table. So we're going to be starting the conversation this evening on Political Roundtable, Mainland 98.3 FM, looking at the East Central African crisis. At least 770 killed in Goma, East DRC, in fighting with Rwanda-backed M23. What are the underlying issues? Just before we came on here, I was having a conversation with Barrister Kote. I said, look, he will have to help us really dissect the origin of this issue, where we are on this particular issue, and what is likely to come out of this crisis that is seeing a lot of people being killed. In one of the reports, I think from the BBC, was said that, look, women are currently committing suicide just to avoid being raped in Eastern Congo, the city of Goma. So that's going to be the first major point of conversation for us on the round table this evening. East Central Africa crisis. At least 770 killed in Goma, East DRC, in fighting with Rwanda-backed M23 rebels. What are the underlying issues? That's the first conversation for the evening. We'll also be looking at Lagos politics here to bring it back home, to look at the crisis within the APC. The Governor's Advisory Council appears divided. In fact, in several reports, we're already seeing members of the Governor's Advisory Council questioning the way the former Speaker of the Lagos State House of Assembly, Right Honorable Obasa, was removed. And as it is, GAC divided over Obasa's removal as speakers, and other members also faulted that particular process. So the question is this: can the former speaker stage a comeback? I've been seeing people who are saying that, look, he's not giving up, he's having a fight back, he's also re-strategizing. In one of the reports in the daily newspapers today, it was also said that opposition political parties in Lagos have started to reach out to the former speaker, telling him that, look, you have what it takes, you can be a part of us and push the agenda for power to be taken away from the ruling APC that have been in control of power in Lagos for over 25 years. Can the former speaker, or the embattled former speaker, stage a comeback and of course cause some level of problem for the ruling party in Lagos? That will be our second point of conversation for the evening. And then we're also going to be looking at the El-Rufai back and forth with the presidential attack. I'm not a pretender, says El-Rufai. And while he's saying he's not a pretender, he's not a Nollywood filmmaker or a jester or an actor, Joe Igbokwe, who was a former aide to the president, is saying that, look, the APC still needs the former Kaduna Governor because of his political dexterity and the contributions he had made in the past to what the APC is today as the ruling party. How true are these assertions? Malam Nasir El-Rufai, the former governor of Kaduna State and the former FCT minister, is saying he's not a pretender. He doesn't pretend. He says it the way it is. And as far as this government is concerned, he will not stop saying what he thinks is right when it comes to calling the government to order and speaking truth to power. While he's saying that, getting all of the backlash, all of the tongue lashing, and what you can call attacks from the media, the information managers of the president, Joe Igbokwe, former aide to the president, is saying that, look, the president needs to bring El-Rufai into the government. They still need him. That's what Mr. Joe Igbokwe is saying. Luckily, we have Barrister Kote, who is also a friend to Joe Igbokwe, to help us look at this particular story around,
a member of APC.
And also a member of the APC. So, does the APC really need El-Rufai? We've been seeing a lot going around, really, when it comes to this El-Rufai conversation. We'll get there, Barrister Curtis. I know you have a lot to say, really, about Malam Nasir El-Rufai, his role within the APC, what he's saying currently about it. So, and then finally, I'm hoping time will be enough for us to look at the crisis in the PDP, cracks in the piece of the PDP I've met in Delta T seems to have been embattled with in the last few years. Those are the 4 issues for conversation this evening. My name is Saheed Fuad. We have Barrister Curtis Adigba in the studio. Nuruddin Adigbo is also in the studio with me, and together we will be looking at all of these issues. We are also streaming the show live on Facebook. We are on YouTube, and you can also listen to the show via the Radio Garden app. Yes, multiple channels for you to enjoy the show this evening. Barrister Curtis Adigba, it's my pleasure to have you in the studio this evening. This 4 very important issues.
Nuruddin's name now to Etomi.
Oh, Baba Etomi. So we'll go straight to business. There's a lot to talk about, Barrister Curtis Adigba. At least 770 people have been killed in Goma, East DRC, fighting with Rwanda-backed M23 rebels. As it is, the information we have is that the rebels have captured a major part of Goma, although there's a pushback from the armed forces, the DRC government forces,
and the Chinese,
and even the Chinese, and a lot of people were also interested. There seems to be a lot of interested party in this conflict. But let's just take our report and allow you to help us break it down, let people understand this whole crisis, what we have, the history behind the crisis, why do we have. It's almost like a world war. That's what someone told me. That look, it's a world war amongst nations in Central and East Africa with a long history, or when it comes to the origin of this particular conflict. As it is, at least 773 people were killed in Eastern Democratic Republic of Congo. That's Congo's largest city of Goma and its vicinity this week, amid fighting just last week with Rwanda-backed rebels who captured the city in a major escalation of decade-long conflict. That's according to the Congolese authorities. M23 is the most potent of more than 100 armed groups vying for control in Congo's mineral-rich east, which owns vast deposits critical to much of the world's technology. They are backed by 4,000 troops from neighboring Rwanda, according to UN experts, far more than in 2012, when they first captured Goma and held it for days in a conflict driven by ethnic grievances. As the fighting raged on the M23 rebels on Saturday, the Congolese army captured some parts of Goma back to themselves, but it's still a battle that has continued. A bit of history, which I think Barrister Curtis Adigba would help us dissect. What he said is that, look, it's not a new fight. This is a fight that has been there for years. It's more about ethnic divisions. It's more about control of mineral resources. So, Barrister Curtis Adigba, what's happening?
Okay, so
M23 backed by the Rwandan government, Paul Kagame is denying, saying that, look, these are Congolese who are fighting for survival. So, help us break it down. What's happening in that region?
First and foremost, M23 stands for the organization that was formed on March 23, 2012. Ethnically dominated by the Tutsis. Now, when the colonial masters came to Africa, they created these artificial boundaries and carved out countries for their sphere of influence. They left Tutsis in different parts of countries in East Africa. Predominantly, you find the Tutsis more in Rwanda. But even at that, they are the minority in Rwanda. But very, very educated, economically very stable, viable.
The Tutsis.
The Tutsis. They fit into the group that I'm sure Yale law professor described as market dominant minority. In Nigeria, you have the Igbos.
Minority, but very influential, rich, prosperous.
You go to Cameroon, you have the Bamilekes. You go to the Philippines, you have the Chinese. Indonesia, the
Singapore,
Chinese.
the same thing.
The same. Singapore, the same. In Nigeria, you go to Delta State, you have the Chekiris. They dominate the navy, they dominate the economy. So, you have the Tutsi. So, let's move forward. That but for what had or still have harbor for the Tutsi, there was the genocide that led to the death of 1 million Tutsis and moderate Hutus. In other words, the Hutus who didn't identify with their ethnic group.
Some of them marrying Tutsis. Yeah.
Yes. 1 million. And that would have continued if not for Paul Kagame, who was already fighting in Uganda with President Museveni, National Resistance Movement. After they captured Uganda, Paul Kagame remained in the bush.
As a rebel, as a leader of the rebels.
That's Rwanda Patriotic Front label as the leader. Now, after that genocide, the RPF for Paul Kagame, supported by Museveni
in Uganda,
and some forces from Burundi and Angola, moved into Rwanda and captured Rwanda from the Hutus. Now, the Hutus, fearing reprisals, 2 million Hutus crossed the boundaries because Rwanda and DRC Congo have the border at the eastern side. 2 million of them crossed into DRC, very close to Rwanda there. And now, Paul Kagame needs to keep those guys in check because he's afraid that from time to time
they could launch a...
No, not just fear. In fact, they had attempted several times to retake Rwanda
from eastern DRC.
Yes. So he feels that the leadership in DRC Congo at that time, Mobutu Sese Seko, was arming the Hutus to destabilize Rwanda. As a result of that, Paul Kagame, Museveni of Uganda, I think it was President Habyarimana of Burundi who was killed in the plane crash, if you remember. Then with the president of Angola, provided the resources to support Laurent Kabila, who was operating on the eastern side of DRC Congo
at that time.
And they moved to capture Goma, which led to the fall of Mobutu Sese Seko. He ran out of the country. Then Kabila became the president. But as soon as he became president, he dumped Paul Kagame, dumped Museveni.
Those who helped him.
That again led to another war. Now, what they did was then to empower a small Tutsi group in the DRC.
Especially in that eastern part of the DRC.
Yes. They now formed the M23. And they have been fighting for control because they have accused the central government of corruption, of an attempt of marginalization and all that. Now, it took the United Nations to put a group together to fight the M23, and to constrain them a little bit. But what we see now, because of so many economic interests, they are fighting for precious metals,
mineral resources
that the market has been captured by the Chinese. Even President Biden made allusion to that fact that the Chinese are in control, and the Chinese, as a result of they don't even want a stable country too, because if it is stable,
it is to their benefit.
Thank you. So what we now have is that, fearing that the current president of Congo, who emerged in 2018 from an election that was deeply flawed, because after the wars and the infighting and all that, these same countries came together and said, look, and signed a peace deal with Joseph Kabila, the son of Laurent Kabila, who became president, to say you will conduct an election, and the party that will win, we stay with the terms of the agreement that we have signed, that they will not attempt by your government to sponsor these Hutu rebels across the borders to attack the countries around. These East African countries have one language, Swahili. They could have been one country, really. So what happened is that election again had problem in the sense that the winner of that election, Martin Fayulu, who is seen to be a sympathizer of the Tutsi group, because they are powerful, was not allowed to become the president of that country. So what you find now is that Paul Kagame believes that the best way to secure his own country's interests is to support the minority group in DRC Congo, the M23 rebels, and them, give them support, military support from Rwanda, and get them to take over power in DRC Congo. That's what is going on there. So it's a proxy war in East Africa, and this proxy war is pitching Rwanda, supported by Uganda, Angola, Burundi, against DRC Congo, Hutus and others in DRC Congo.
But President Felix Tshisekedi, who is the current president of the DR, all of these troubles, apart from even the issue of ethnicity, which you've talked about, you've helped us to dissect the fact that, look, it's just a proxy war. Most of these boundaries were created, people thrown around from, it's just like what you have in India too, where you have the Kashmir region,
the caste system.
Kashmir region, for example, dominated by Muslims who think that ordinarily they should be in Pakistan, but here they've been cut into India, and they keep fighting with the dominant Hindu population of India. So you said that, look, these things have been created, but there are also people who especially President Felix Tshisekedi, is saying that, look, it's also about mineral resources in Eastern Congo.
Yes.
And that, look, it's not really about, the fear that someone is coming to attack us, the fear of, maybe if you allow them to settle, more than 2 million Hutu who are also in DRC could come one day. That, look, also Paul Kagame is also interested in the mineral resources of DRC, and that in fact with the M23 rebels is able to also have some access. Do you think that, look, the resources of the DRC has become a major cause, a big problem for that country?
It is a cause, not a blessing. DRC Congo should be one of the richest countries in the world.
By the mineral resources God has given them.
By the mineral resources they have. The precious metals, the cobalt that they also have, which is used to produce electronics and all that. That's why China is there. Look at Nigeria, look at Zamfara. Do you know the reason why there used to be a lot of banditry in Zamfara was because of mineral resources there?
Because of the business there.
The gold and all the other things. And you find again the Chinese in the midst. Okay? Now, the DRC is so much indebted to the Chinese. In fact, I think after Eritrea is the number one country in Africa that China that is indebted to China. Eritrea, Ethiopia, and then you're talking about DRC Congo. And how are they paying? They are paying by using their
precious metals.
In fact, if you go in this conflict right now, Chinese drones are being used to attack the positions of the M23. Yes, President Tshisekedi may be right to the extent that Paul Kagame will need those national resources harvested from DRC Congo. Do that. Each appropriate it to get the funding, just like you see the bandits in Zamfara and other parts of Nigeria going to raid banks. By stealing money from banks for their operations, by cornering a large swath of areas of land, and then bringing foreigners to come and harvest
those resources.
So he may be right, but I think beyond the mineral resources, if the threat of 2 million ethnic Hutus from Rwanda
who are now in the DRC,
if that threat does not exist, all right, if it's just a matter of ethnic Tutsi in DRC fighting against injustice, fighting against discrimination, fighting against marginalization, you will not see Paul Kagame fighting in DRC the way he's doing currently, because he thinks that his survivor and the survivor of his country, Rwanda, it doesn't depends on holding the DRC guys in check. Because you see, the greatest fear of anyone who is a Tutsi in the world today is the likelihood or the possibility or even the thinking at all that the Hutus,
that cultural anxiety
supported by the DRC government, can then cross the border and then retake Rwanda from the Tutsi.
So the 1994 genocide is still fresh on their mind.
And don't forget that Paul Kagame is a Tutsi.
Of course, yes.
But he has to introduce a lot of measures. One of them is to ban the practice of religion. In fact, you have to get a license. He also banned the idea that when you are filling your form for it, for anything,
ethnicity, no, just you are in Rwanda.
You are just a Rwanda. Now, the fear is that all this will be rolled back with ethnic Hutus taking over Rwanda again. And that's one of the reasons why Paul Kagame has not left the scene. People are saying, after stabilizing the country as a military leader,
he should have.
But he changed from being a military leader to a democratic leader.
But dictatorial in every form and shape.
He's still winning election like a one-party state.
the election, by psychology, the elections have been questionable. Exactly. The last time, I think he won about 99% of the elections. And people are saying that, look, this can be an election. There are people who have said that, look, Paul Kagame, yes, has left the rebel uniform, is now a Democrat, but
he's not alone.
The way
he's following in the footsteps of even one of the persons we praise in Africa so much, Julius Nyerere. Up to now, Tanzania is still a one-party state. Though they claim that they have multi-party democracy, but there's a dominant, super dominant political party, which is the Nyerere's party. You go to Uganda. Yes, there's talk about multi-party democracy.
It's
Museveni. In fact, I met a young man from Uganda in one of our African Association of Political Consultant meeting, who told me the year Mugabe swept to power was the way he was born. And Mugabe is still in power. And the young man says he wants to challenge Mugabe in the next election.
But by Sarkozy, we can come back home and look at our own domestic problems. Do you think this is a crisis that may never end? It's over 30 years from when the genocide happened in 1994. If people still have that level of cultural anxiety, to the point where even a Paul Kagame is not so comfortable, he has that fear that, look, these guys will still come back, stage a comeback all the way from across the borders. Do you think it's probably a crisis we'll continue to live with, like every other crisis that we've lived with for over 4 or 5 decades?
This crisis is intractable and will continue to be. One, Paul Kagame is not ready to give up Rwanda to the Hutus.
One day we'll have to.
Two, the Hutus are also not willing to surrender their advantage in Rwanda, no matter how long it takes.
The advantage, would you blame them? They have the population, they are dominant.
So the attempt, what he's trying to do is to build a country that accommodates both the Tutsi and the Hutus, and some other minor, small ethnic groups. Okay. Now, will it succeed? Well, we have to wait and see. But here is the problem. So long as Congo continues to be rich in mineral resources, okay, and so long as the Chinese and all the other big players
coming to that place,
believes that a stable government in Congo will not play to their advantage,
steal the
and
resources,
therefore cannot guarantee stability. A system whereby every Congolese is given a fair chance. You understand? Because you see, if a country is prosperous, the citizens expect that at least the opportunity for shared prosperity should exist. But Congo is a place where you have all kind of militant groups, pockets of militant groups controlling different parts of Congo, and all of them are entering into agreement with buys from them. So there can be solution.
Yeah, but I want you to talk to us about a possible solution.
So that solution has to be a solution that the United Nations can promote. At some point, the Hutus who are refugees in the DRC Congo, there should be a political framework where they will be allowed to return back to Rwanda, even if it has to be in trenches, to be sure that they don't just come in one bullet and destabilize the country again, and they can be profiled. The second solution will be for the government in DRC Congo to stop supporting the Hutus in Congo. You understand? Because that support is why the Hutus do have the power and the strength to continue to fight against Rwanda. So if you have an arrangement whereby it is okay, let's create an autonomous community in the DRC Congo for these Hutus who are there, and they should not cross over the border to attack the government in Rwanda. You understand? Now the sell-off, the set-off point for that could be that the M23 should then dissolve their activities and stop attacking the government, the DRC. But beyond all this, the fight for economic advantage, the fight to take over different fields and be the organization or the group that will have access to these mineral resources and sell, is also one of this is meant that is stable. They will be able to reduce the level of tension and the level of carnage that is ongoing. But right now, they can't help themselves.
Well, it's still Political Roundtable, mainland 98.3 FM. We just have to really touch on the crisis in the eastern part of Congo. Terrible report coming from the city of Goma. Like I said earlier, as we started the show, there are women. We have reports that women were practically committing suicide just to avoid being violated by the rampaging M23 rebels backed by the Rwandan government. Well, Paul Kagame is denying. He's saying that, look, he has no hands in this. These are people who are Tutsis who are just fighting for survival. But
you don't expect him to come out
and
funding this guy.
Although
I'm supporting them with
there have been efforts. I think there have been efforts even from Kenya to see whether there could be a summit really. President Ruto have tried to also come in, intervene, but it's looking like, look, peace is far from coming in that particular region.
The North and South Kivu.
The Kivu region,
The Kivu region where the Hutus live is a center or the epicenter of the attacks.
Of these attacks and crises.
And it is from there that the M23 has moved towards Goma. And the ultimate game plan is to capture Kinshasa,
get into the capital city.
Because if you remember, that was how they took down Mobutu Sese Seko.
So don't you think that whatever Paul Kagame was able to achieve after the genocide, he thinks that, look, the M23 rebels could do the same thing? So you have two nations side by side controlled by the minority Tutsis.
Yes,
but does that make him comfortable?
That's his ambition. His ambition is to support the M23 with the RPF,
to take over the
hold out RPF fighters, and if they are able to take over Congo, that's fine, because there's nothing against minority ruling in the country. The Tutsis are in government in Rwanda. Okay, so if he works in Rwanda,
you think he can work in DRC?
Why not in DRC? And DRC has been unstable for some time because after Mobutu Sese Seko, Laurent Kabila was there for just months. And then he was killed in a coup, a palace coup that brought his son to power, Joseph spent about 20 years there, did nothing really. He couldn't even conduct election. He took the United Nations to step in, but he made a lot of money. In fact, some of the agreements that he signed with the Chinese, which was supposed to be to the benefit of Congo, it is being reported that the funds are going to his private accounts. Him and those of his henchmen. So
if there's a country that has been badly run, a clear example of a badly run state in Africa, I think DRC fits.
The worst country in the entire Africa, and yet the richest country in Africa.
In mineral resources.
Potentially the richest country in Africa. Even in land, in terms of land area too. Nigeria is nothing compared to Congo.
The DRC.
Yes.
All right. A lot of ties, really ethnic related. We are hoping that, look,
when you have money, the way they are going to share with in a particular country, still want to make sure that the neighboring country also.
That is because they are feeling that the central government in that country is supporting their own enemy. And so the best way to go, they say the best way to defend is to attack.
So why, for example, before we move to some of the domestic issues we have on the round, also forming some form of,
because there are also some Hutus.
What does he want to achieve?
Well,
I'm talking about President Felix now. It's a carry of DRC.
So this is what he gains from it. He says the DRC Congo see Rwanda as an enemy. You know, as countries, as individuals compete with themselves, countries also compete with themselves. Of DRC Congo, does he counterbalance that? He feels that they praise his country. So what he gains is, but for people like Kagame, an election that did not win, but was manipulated for him. Like I said, it's widely believed that Martin Fayulu won that election. But he's not president today. And Martin Fayulu has the sympathy of the M23 rebels because they believe that with him in government, they probably won't be fighting today.
Okay, all right. We need to come back to the home front. Political Roundtable, Mainland 98.3 FM. We have Barrister Curtis Adigba in the studio. We have Nurudeen Adigba in the studio. We've been able to really touch on that crisis in eastern Congo. The city of Goma is on fire as we speak, and we are hoping that common sense will prevail and the leaders of those African countries will do whatever they can do to bring peace and restore peace to that region. It's a problem that has been there for over 30 years. We're waiting for a day when, you know, these leaders will come to the round table, come to a table like this and say, look, we need to stop this blood that we're just shedding needlessly, you know, in that particular region. Or is divided. Chief Muraimo A. Taiwo has criticized the removal of Mudashiru Obasa as Speaker of the State House of Assembly. Obasa, remember, was ousted on January 13th while he was out of the country over alleged gross misconduct and abuse of office. He was replaced by Mojisola Lasbat Miranda. That's right, Honorable Mojisola Lasbat Miranda, who represents Apapa Constituency 1. Obasa's removal has caused division within the GAC, the high decision-making body of the Lagos APC. GAC member Senator Anthony Adefuye sided with Obasa, so you have two now who are already saying that, look, the way he was removed is wrong, and this is what we're saying basically, that look, there seems to be this division. Although Musri Obanikoro has responded and has said that, look, there's really nothing wrong in the way the Obasa was removed. I think people need to understand that we're talking about the Governor's Advisory Council that has party elders, elder statesmen, former governors, former senators, you know, all in this advisory council. And what I thought that, look, it was a unanimous decision that Obasa should be removed from. But from what we are saying, since Obasa came back, issued a press conference, organized a press conference to say that, look, he was illegally removed. We are also seeing some GAC members voicing out their displeasure against how the former speaker was removed. Nurudeen, do you think that would be a Bola Ahmed Tinubu not really pay attention to what had happened? A lot has been flying around, some of them rumors, grapevines that we've not been able to verify. But this division within the Governor's Advisory Council on how Obasa was removed, what do you think about it?
Anytime you have politicians in the room on a particular issues, no matter the case may be, there's going to be division, especially. But not,
on a it's very sensitive matter. Like
no matter the case may be, especially when it involves two things: money and power.
So where's the money in this conversation?
Money in this conversation is this: even before getting to the stage of Obasa being removed, there are a lot of rumors that at a particular time money was flying around and no matter the case may be, don't forget the party members, political office holders, they have to, the way it is structured, they have to bow to the GAC. And when you have to
but now the same GAC is divided.
Now
members of the GAC are questioning the role of Obasa.
You should be able to know that for somebody to be in the house for that number of years, to be a speaker and to be a member of GAC, no matter the case may be, he will have his own people, and that's the reason why you are having Adefuye, you are having Taiwo also siding with him, and you have other ones also siding with the current with the political calculations on ground, because a lot of people, in fact, there was a particular rumor in the morning that fled out. Immediately I saw the story, because a story that doesn't have attribution, and there is no quotation in that particular attribution, I don't take it serious. That maybe by Monday is going to be a lot of hurdles that's going to make it difficult for Obasa to come back again as Speaker of Lagos House of Assembly. One of the things there is the issue of the law.
Okay.
Is the issue of the law. Some certain non-state actors are even ready. If that particular service is being taken, some have to go to the courts to seek for the interpretation of how a speaker can be removed. And that one is going to be counterbalancing on the power of Asiwaju as the leader even in Lagos State. That one is one. Then two, don't forget that Lagos indigene at every point in time they've been looking for a way to take their state back.
The what?
They want to Lagos indigene.
Yes.
They've been looking for a way that they want to take their state back because they believe that
is Obasa the reason why?
No. Because they believe that
yes.
at every point in time from 1999 to today, they believe that no Lagos indigene.
How does that concern Obasa?
Now the reason now is that they believe that if they have to take that power, they have to take it little by little. But now they now have somebody that is an indigene as speaker. Okay. That is going to be very difficult for.
Obasa says it's from Ojo.
No, what do you say?
He says it's from Ojo. That is
Fuhad. Thank God that you are from Lagos State. Yes. I'm from Abeokuta. Yes. But Amuda cannot stand in front of you and say it's from Ojo now.
I do.
I know. After all, I'm Abeokuta and I know their house. In fact, those people around him that have followed him to go and do a lot of burial in his, they know the
maybe extended family. You know,
listen, you know politicians, they know how to do that kind of tentacle. Yeah. So now the true Lagosians are now rally round.
So they think they have a speaker.
They know that this particular one for the next 2 years is going to be with us, and that's why you see a lot of people that are not even closer to the woman coming up. Then another thing again is this. If you look at the body language of the president, anytime that he didn't want to do a particular bidding, he will close door because he's not a kind of politician that normally close door.
So when he closes his door,
and I will give
what door has he closed now?
Now you remember when the former governor Makumi Ambode is going to be given second time. It's not going to be given second time. What did he do? What he did was that he closed the door to the extent that Akumi Ambode cannot see him and discuss that particular issue that is referring to the GSC as if it's GSC that is going to determine.
So the president also closed his door
for the former speaker to come back to Nigeria, went to Abuja, although there were a lot of rumors that he sat with the president, and the story later confirmed that he did not even see the president, but he saw the wife of the president. But one thing that is so certain is that for president not allow to see him, closes the door with the style that we've known him, because he's the kind of person that always opens his doors.
When he shuts his door against a politician, his door and daughter.
And he didn't want to talk to that particular person.
He opened it halfway through his wife.
Don't you think that, like Barrister Curtis is saying, Barrister, if the president has closed his door, don't you think the wife can open that door?
Why not? She has the keys. But let me tell you something. I think that politicians in Nigeria are poor students of history. History that they are also part of making.
Which they also created.
Since 1999, in this country, only 2 speakers have become governor as a result of the push by their governors
in the country.
And they are only the speaker of Delta State, who is now Governor
Boy,
and then Wifru of
Ebonyi State, yes.
Other than that, it's been very difficult for speakers and deputy governors. In fact, in the case of deputy governor, only Ganduje
survived.
Had been supported by his governor, Rabi Okwankwanso.
Yes.
And you see the conflict that they are having. Now, to bring this home, I'm even beginning to go beyond what we are seeing now to what is about to happen. In the sense that, what if this is a strategic move to pave the way for the son of the president?
The hostile of Obasa.
Yes, because Obasa, as speaker, would have given them a stronger fight for the ticket if he was running. You know, the Merenda woman is not going to run for governor.
No. I'm sure she's happy with what she has.
Remember what happened in Taraba State after Governor Sontai was involved in that
accident,
and he was succeeded by his deputy, who became ambitious overnight and wanted to be the governor. In fact, picked the ticket of the PDP. Overnight, Sontai's deputy that had been impeached
was brought
back after a court now ruled that the impeachment was wrong.
Yes.
And he came back because he took an oath behind the scene that I don't want to be governor, I'm not running for governor. So let me just finish the tenure
and go
of Sontai and go. And that was what happened. So this might be one side. Now the other side is that even the division within the GAC is not strong enough.
Not really something to say, oh, there's a big division.
Like 2 over 38.
If you look at the strength of the GAC.
Because again, some of the members of the GAC, by Mr. Cotty, sorry to cut in, you have Sir Area Jomale, we have Baba Bushura, Lebi Oshu, Abiodun Ogunleye, Murphy Adetoro, James Odun Baku, Anthony Adefuye, one of the people who is saying Obasa should not have been removed in that way. S.A. Seriki, Olorunfemi Bashorun, Rabi Oluwa, Muraino Taiwo, Mutiula Walare, Yusuf Yomi Fini, he's been around. Muiwa Sosonya, Tunde Samuel, Adeyemi Ikuforiji, the former speaker, Azum, Razak Lanre, Obasa himself, Babatunde Balogun Wale Edun, Babatunde Fashola, former governor.
How many of these people?
Yes. You know, Senator Ganiu Solomon, Muslim Obanikura, and several others. So
I say like 2 over 38.
Pedro should also be there.
Yeah. So, but and several others.
How many of these people?
At least we have 2 as identified.
Yes.
2 out of 38.
Out of 38.
It doesn't even move the needle. Because whether you like it or not, the devil has his own supporters.
And those two, they are not even the chairman. They are not even the secretary.
So you think that look, that's really not a division that should get anybody.
There's nothing significant
about it.
You're bound to have, like I said, the devil has his followers. You're bound to have those who will say, look, the way Amana was removed. Because don't forget that he's going around and trying to gather his own group to stage a comeback. So he may have succeeded in winning those 2. Do you understand? And if he's going to lose at the GAC and he doesn't have the support of the governor, that I can tell you, because he's been very rude to the governor in the past, treated him like
the governor has received the new leadership of the house.
Exactly, that's what I'm saying.
That's so to show the thinking of the governor on the matter.
I think that what matters ultimately here is the fact that the APC in Lagos might be heading for a division.
Now to the former speaker of Assert to say that, look, you seem to have this strength. You know, you are an experienced politician.
Do you believe
come and join us here?
Do you believe the PDP in Lagos State? I don't believe them.
The PDP in Lagos State, anyway, it's difficult to believe anything.
Apart from the initial contest where Obanikoro was the candidate against Fashola.
But do you think that an Obasa, for example, can cause what has not been seen before in Lagos politics? You know, this
PDP, Abi.
Maybe try another political party, maybe not the PDP. Do you think he can move into the opposition and have a strong fight against?
Lacks the credibility of such a leader. You know, in my place we say that if you are being carried on the neck by someone who is standing inside the water, if that person's leg is not touching fish, you on the neck, your leg cannot touch fish.
Cannot touch the fish, yeah. So whatever he is today as a politician.
Look, before we even get to the point of Obasa being a rallying point for others, how is Obasa perceived in Lagos State?
And perception is very important.
It's key in politics. During the COVID lockdown, what did he do when he celebrated his birthday?
He made a mistake by sharing bread.
And then he defied.
And we saw the bread being used as football on the street of Agege.
Okay. Yeah. So because you see, for you to be
it was a mistake actually.
For you to be a rallying point.
Yes.
All right. The people has got to believe in you.
Yeah.
You have got to have credibility. And I'm not saying, look, as a voter in Lagos today, if you ask me, what's the perception of Obasa? It's not a good one.
And sometimes perception is more important than reality.
Do you understand? But you know what? Lagos is such in a delicate place. There are a lot of people who are tired with the dominance of APC for the number of years in Lagos. You saw the last presidential election. People were tired of the two dominant parties, APC and PDP.
And they went for the Labour Party.
They wanted the change. Now, if they can get someone to excite them, and don't forget what El-Rufai said when he came to Lagos to address the Bridge Club, where he talked about how a credible person emerging can displace Asiwaju and his group. Because when you look at Lagos, for instance, like he said that particular year, right? Over 7-point-something million people registered to vote in Lagos. And at the end of the day, less than one organic turnout of voters. Give people something to look up to. What has been happening in Lagos is that people don't vote in Lagos. So what they have done is to leave voting to the different groups, the market groups, the ward groups in Lagos, the
transportation groups,
But if non-aligned voters,
free-minded, non-partisan voters can come out.
Members of any political party takes it upon themselves and say, this year is this year, and we have someone to look up to.
APC will be in trouble. Is that what you're saying?
APC will be in trouble. APC will be in trouble.
But one thing there is that, look, with this Lagos, I am very sure that Obasa himself will not go to PDP, will not go to Labour, because he really wants to make one big change. Look, if you want to be a governor in Lagos,
he has not said he wants to be APC.
What you say? And I didn't say that. We are looking that, okay, can he move? And I'm saying that he will move to either of Labour Party or PDP.
So if he remains in the APC, you think he's going to eventually accept his fate?
Can I even tell you the biggest threat he faces when he leaves the APC? He will lose everything.
If he decides to leave the APC,
he will lose everything.
Because
they're going to move on. They're going to move against him.
Every politician has those here.
They will bring it out.
And another thing again is that, don't forget, Agege local government. It's just one local government out of the 20 local government. Then another thing again is that, what is the assurance? Because one thing Yoruba used to say, one person is calling you, you pretended as if you did not hear. If millions of people are calling you at a particular time, you will hear. And that is the thing. Who gave him the leverage to be what he is? So all those kind of things is going to be very difficult.
The biggest problem he faces now is that his colleagues have lost confidence in him. If you look at, Nigerian politicians are like European weather. They can be your friend this morning.
The next
few hours.
Yes.
When I watched the video of the day she went to take over the office of the speaker, all the guys that were demonstrating and praying and hailing, they were the same people who hailed Obasa and prayed for him to sit on that chair. So I'm not surprised by that. But I think for now, the support of the GAC, the support of the political structure in Lagos, the support of the governor, the support of the president is holding firm. And so you are not going to see, because up to now, other than two members who are die-hard Obasa supporters, the rest of the members are holding firm behind the new structure of this. So it's going to be difficult. And don't forget now that she's got leverage. She's going to reconstitute the committees.
I think she has the principal
have been done. The
committees.
And these are sweeteners. She's going to use those committee chairmanship
to consolidate
on her power. So for me, like I said, if I were Obasa,
keep quiet.
I will go back to the house and make myself chairman committee on observation.
Just observe things.
Observe
like the remand for
years. And then he will gradually begin to regain the confidence of his colleagues. Because every time he looks at them and they look at him, something happens in their mind.
That this was used to be our guy.
But just go there, sit down quietly and observe things. People will still respect you. You don't have to be speaker to be respected.
Yes.
Okay. Well, you don't have to be speaker to be respected. We'll see.
But what is attached to that particular post?
We'll see whether in his press conference he has said that, look, he's not even against any attempt to remove him. He just wants due process to be followed. He has also said that, look, God has been merciful to him. He was almost going to be the longest speaker, serving speaker in the Lagos House of Assembly. He's been returned as speaker several times. He's enjoyed the benefit of that office. And he said, as a Muslim, he said it. He said,
and he also said the people of Agege did not vote to make him speaker.
They voted for him
and truly.
So if he's already talking like that, maybe he's already accepting his fate. But we'll see whether after the press conference he's going to do anything again, or he's going to just accept his fate.
There are 5 stages of grief.
Which stage is he now? Let's have the 5 stages.
One major stage is denial.
Has it happened to me?
Yes.
Now maybe this.
So it's gone past that stage.
Okay,
I think it's at the stage of trying to accept
the reality.
And you will eventually accept it.
And funniest thing is that, and the beauty of democracy that is out of it is that in the long while, we are seeing a lot of contestants in Agege and Orile Agege coming out to be governor, councillors. They are coming. Initially, before they will not until.
We'll find time really to discuss the political trajectory, the political situation in Agege.
The 5 stages of grief. If you want me to list them
out, it will be nice to hear.
The first one is denial. We talked about that already.
That's now maybe this. What can't happen to me?
No, this is
it's a bad dream.
Then the second one is anger.
Okay, you get angry about it.
After you deny, then you become very angry about it.
It happened.
Then the third stage is bargaining. You begin to understand the situation,
the reality of life.
Maybe I can find 1 or 2 persons
looking at options here and there.
And then depression sets in.
When you are alone.
Especially if the bargain fails.
Yes. And then finally you accept.
And Yoruba say gba for long. Anyways, we'll move to it's still Political Roundtable, mainland 98.3 FM. We have Barrister Curtis Adigma in the studio. My name is Saeed Fuad. We've touched on the crisis in East and Central Africa. The eastern part of the DRC, Goma, is on fire as we speak. Deaths are being recorded in their numbers between the M23 rebels, allegedly led, supported by Paul Kagame of Rwanda. And of course, it's a crisis that we have to pay attention to. Over 770 people have been reported killed in renewed fighting in that particular region. We also talked about Lagos politics, the GAC, which looks divided already. Some members talking against, speaking against the removal of Obasa and the process that has led to his ouster as Speaker of the Lagos State House of Assembly. Barrister Curtis, Malam Nasu, his politics, you understand how he plays his politics, you understand his nature and his behavior and thinking. In fact, it's almost difficult for anyone who has followed Nigerian politics from 1999 till date not to understand the philosophy that El-Rufai brings to the political space. He did a lot of things. Of course, the founding member of the APC when the alliance was formed. The fact that, look, he was also very instrumental. He was also active in the APC primaries in the last elections. Our President Bola Ahmed Tinubu emerged, and then the campaigns. At some point after the elections, I saw a video recently that came up when I was researching this particular issue, where you remember that the president had gone to a forum where he was on the podium, and he had told El-Rufai to make a promise that you will not leave this country, you work for the government.
That was in Kaduna.
In Kaduna State, yes. And that, look, El-Rufai, if you don't promise me,
I won't come down, that
you will not leave the country, and you work for me, I will not leave this podium. And people practically came there to drag El-Rufai up to make the promise not to leave the country but work for the president. Barrister Curtis Adigba, the same man, was nominated to be a minister, and it wasn't as if his name was dropped before he appeared before the National Assembly. Right there, he did this normal screening, and just when we had thought that, look, everything was going to go well, he will be appointed a minister. In fact, people had already told that he was going to be heading the power ministry.
Yes. Even set up a group of people that are going to work with him.
Remember that even in Chatham House, he was one of the people that the president had beckoned on to speak,
to answer a
question, answer on his behalf, and all of that. Now, Malam Nasir El-Rufai has since been left in the cold.
First of all, there is the cost of Chatham House.
Yes.
I don't know if you notice that there is a cost of Chatham House.
What cost is that?
Almost everybody who answered questions on behalf of the president in Chatham House
did not
out of his government. Almost everyone. Only Dele Alake.
Kalifani has been quiet.
No, it's not even part of the government. And El-Rufai. Now, you remember that this man was there. I think the current minister of Works and Housing. Was it there? No, he wasn't there. He wasn't there.
I can't remember now.
Now, these were the key people that the president traveled with to Chatham House. Now we have the cost of the Chatham House. So next time, if any aspirant is going to Chatham House,
elected president,
follow me, don't go.
But before we go into this issue, I'm not sure if has been reported to be making some political moves. He said, look, he's just having his own time, having his meetings in his home state, in Kaduna State. He's not seen face to face with the governor again. They're falling apart completely.
But that's a manufactured crisis, yes, and we know why.
Yes,
they just needed to give him something
to deal with.
To deal with.
You know, look.
So this El-Rufai matter by Mr. Curtis, what is happening?
Nasir El-Rufai,
yes,
like I said, is the objectification of the saying that dangerous things come in little packaging.
They're too big.
Even poison.
El-Rufai is a man who is not afraid to go into a knife fight with a gun. El-Rufai does not stand in two places at the same time.
He said he doesn't joke around.
El-Rufai is either for you or against you. Now, don't forget that before the APC primaries, El-Rufai was against Ahmed Bola Tinubu. In fact, when rumors were making the rounds, swelling round, that Tinubu was looking at picking El-Rufai, the first thing that El-Rufai said, I will not be a deputy to a drug baron. I don't know if you remember that comment.
Yes.
And that comment didn't sit well with the Tinubu camp. However, Tinubu went to Kaduna to campaign as a candidate. And that was where the video you talked about happened, where he was speaking. Because El-Rufai had before then had said he was going abroad to do further studies.
To study, just in the country, yeah.
And the candidate Tinubu then felt that he needed El-Rufai in his cabinet. And unfortunately or fortunately, El-Rufai was nominated by the governor of his state. In fact, don't forget that El-Rufai, once he made the decision to support Tinubu, was one of the three governors that took the Buhari government to court and to challenge the policy of the CBN.
And Emefiele,
they took Emefiele and the CBN
at some point he was almost going to go into battle with even President Buhari.
Not almost.
Wrote letters.
El-Rufai is not afraid of going into any battle. In fact, El-Rufai once described Buhari as not even qualified to be local government chairman.
Yeah.
If you remember, during their disagreement period. So he's not afraid of anybody. But once he made that decision to support Tinubu, no one again in the political ecosystem of APC supported Tinubu more than El-Rufai.
He did everything.
I
think before the problem is whether there was a consensus or not, he was one of the governors. Yeah.
He was, if there was a time that the northern leaders decided that El-Rufai should go pick a form and contest, that he will have the backing of the northern leaders in APC. He said, no, I've been out there on the map saying that power must shift to the south.
I can't do this.
I can't do it. So he mobilized support for the president today. But somehow, El-Rufai also has his own package. In the sense that there are people very close to the president that he has wronged. One of them is the National Security Advisor today, who had fought so hard to be governor of Adamawa. And the rumor out there was that El-Rufai was the one behind Aisha Binani, who defeated
Rubadu at the primaries,
and went on to lose the election to the current governor. Umaru Fintiri
of Adamawa State.
You also have the rumor that there are those in the government of Tinubu who believes that because he's so powerful and equally divisive,
don't bring him in,
that he will come in and then try to create problem for the president by dividing key figures around the president. And they pointed to the fact that he did that between former Vice President Atiku and former President Obasanjo. And then beyond all that is the calculation for 2027.
Yes.
How does El-Rufai come in?
That he will become so powerful as a minister of power
that he can even contest against the president.
Yes, and that he can contest against the president. These were all the things that they took to the president. And then they humiliated El-Rufai by allowing him to go through all that screening and all that. And then all of a sudden they say, security reports indicted him, and so the president couldn't go forward with him. Let me tell you how, if you believe in a man, if you believe in someone that you really want to work with, you will go beyond security report, especially manufactured security report. And I'll give you an example. An example is President Muhammadu Buhari. How many times did security report stop the Senate from confirming
Magu? And he stuck with him. He stayed with him.
But because the president believed in him, he kept him in an acting position.
Even while
until the forces overwhelmed Magu. And he had to be investigated. Of course, there is nobody, including President Muhammadu Buhari himself. If you go to investigate him today and pull out all the stops, you will find where he did something wrong. Either by deliberate action or inaction. And that was what happened to Magu. Now, so El-Rufai knows what he wants in life and is not afraid to go for it. Now, what is happening is that he has come out openly to say the APC that he joined, the APC that he formed,
he no longer
is no longer the party.
What
in power today.
He said, look, I no longer recognize the APC.
Thank you.
No party organ has met in 2 years.
Correct.
No caucus.
And it's right about that.
Nothing.
Yeah.
No neck, sorry, nothing. You don't even know if it's a one-man show or it's a zero-man show.
This issue came up recently, and the APC national spokesperson, Felix Moka, was trying to defend. Yes, what El-Rufai said there is true.
No meeting.
The party organs don't meet. No.
Again.
No. So now, what is happening is, and you see interesting movements. Last week, there was a gathering of politicians from different political parties.
Yes.
Senator Ben Obi,
yes,
who was Atiku's vice presidential candidate in ACN. You saw Atiku, you saw El-Rufai, you saw Peter Obi, you saw all kind of people coming
together. Yeah.
On Friday, given the fact that El-Rufai belongs to the, I think Tijaniya, as it's called. El-Rufai and Emir Sanusi belong to that group. And they have been going around meeting this group. And they are the biggest religious group in the north.
Even in Nigeria.
Going around and trying to talk to them. You saw that the villa made his own move by bringing the leader of that sect,
the Tijaniya sect,
into the villa, the mosque in Villa for prayer. And they said that he had come into the country to greet the president and to pray for the president.
So you think it was a balance in some sort of power play?
It's all politics. I mean, politics has started. Now, coming to the fact that does this government need
El-Rufai? Joe Igbokwe, your friend, is saying that look, they need it.
I hardly agree with Joe Igbokwe, but on this I agree with him 1000%. And I'll tell you why.
Okay.
One of the most intractable problems that this president promised to solve was electricity. Power, the issue of power. Giving El-Rufai records of performance
as minister, even as governor,
his focus, his brilliance, his ability to take
decisions
on forces. Don't forget that when he was minister of FCT, he took on powers. Though he made mistakes in some area because he's human,
but he was able to at least
achieve what it is.
Exactly. So the so-called what do they call them, cabal in the power sector that are not allowing anything to move.
You know, send them home.
El-Rufai would have been someone who would have taken on them. I think that the El-Rufai would have been doing much better than the current guy there, who is always known for controversy, nothing more.
And be supporting those people that is the agency under him supposed to even ask questions.
You understand? So on that basis, you say yes. It's actually not a loss for El-Rufai as a person. It's a loss for the Tinubu government and possibly Nigeria. But then is the president, he has the prerogative to hire whoever he wants to hire. But then for most politicians, you don't go to the extent to which he went, begging a man not to go abroad to study, and say you must promise me publicly that you are going to join the government, only for him to work so hard for you, and then you disappointed him. Others are looking and say, if you could do this to El-Rufai,
you can also do it. But by Assert Control, we've seen a lot of attack from the presidency. His media officers, Daniel Bwala was the first almost to respond. I was
but I heard what El-Rufai told him.
I'm coming by Assert Control, where he said that look, if you were part of the government, you would not be saying what you're saying. I also watched former Senator Jibola Bashir, who is the secretary of the party, on a TV platform, where he also went all out, really attacking the personality of El-Rufai and all of that. Do you think the presidency is making a mistake understanding the kind of influence that El-Rufai can pull, especially in the north.
Look, I don't even if El-Rufai is not in a position to pull the kind of strength that he can, I think it's still a mistake to go after anyone that disagrees with the president. In politics, more is better than less. Spokesperson are supposed to go out there and win friends and support for the president. Unfortunately, in Nigeria,
Getting more enemies for him.
whoever disagrees with the president, even if it's the person who loves the president so much, it becomes a flying object that everybody must take down. Do you understand? And that is because these guys are not creative. Look at my friend 괰ᴜ, for instance. It plays a more adversarial role than a creative role.
Yeah.
More like
Look, he doesn't innocent policies as to say, look, these are the things the government should be doing and all that. Now he likes to
this matter he spoke about now. Is it a policy issue?
no, he likes to break down.
He was supposed to be speaking for the president on policy matter.
Look at the role he played in the election. You know, at the point, the only reason why the president eventually hired him was because he wasn't promoting the president.
Yeah.
He was attacking Osinbajo, saying as the leader of the economic team he failed, saying this and this. And when he went to Atiku, what did he do? Again, he didn't promote Atiku.
Yes.
He was saying if you give Tinubu 30 years,
He will not do anything.
he will not do anything. He said, the man said he built Lagos. He was only collecting taxes. Anybody can collect taxes. So you see, and that's exactly what he's doing. He's going after people perceived to be the opponents of the president.
Not concentrating on selling his own
He's
principle.
not selling the policies of the government, which he was hired to communicate. As he
Although
spoke-
there's nothing to sell,
What has he said about the tax reform bill?
which is a policy issue.
Which is a policy issue.
Even for me, hiring him
Boala.
for that particular purpose, he can't do the job. I think what really happened was that because of the power that be in the way of managing the information of the president, that was the reason why he was switched to that particular one. Because ordinarily he was brought in basically to be the attacking dog. That is what he was. That is what he was good about. It's not about policy. That's why you see the minister for information, you see the former minister for sports, this man from Ibadan,
Sunday Dare.
you can't compare the kind of engagement they are going to have on each policy compared to Daniel Buhala. And one thing that is there is this: the ROUNDTABLE that I know, he, as human being, he may have his own side just like every other person, but in terms of tactics, in terms of techniques, with the kind of power he wields in the north, I think the president needs him even more than how he needs the president. Then too, as a political party, look, by the time it's getting to 1 year before the election, that is when the current president will know who are those people that are with him, because at that particular time you are going to see some certain moves that are going to be going. But one thing about El-Rufai that everybody knows, El-Rufai, if it's for you, it's for you. If it's not for you,
He said he doesn't
it's not
pretend.
for you. And that is one of the things I could recall during the time of El-Rufai and El-Zakzaky, while some certain Muslim in Kaduna called him, what did you want? He said, so far this particular society is still in this particular state, with what they are doing around where they were located, I'm going to pull them down. And he did that. And another thing again is that don't forget that El-Rufai is the first governor, even from the north, considering the kind of people from Kaduna, where you have southern Kaduna and northern Kaduna, that said he is going to pick
a deputy governor
that is going to be a Muslim too. And a lot of people, in fact, a lot of political analysts, no, he
can't do that in here.
In fact, the vote that he got from southern Kaduna, no governor from Kaduna has ever got this kind of vote.
Because people don't know that there are also Muslims who live in southern Kaduna.
Yes. Even there are some people that are not Muslims, because one thing about he reshaped Kaduna, we should not even lie. He reshaped Kaduna more than any other governor in that particular state. But with the situation of things, his technical ability is not in doubt. Everybody, that's why Joe Igbokwe, I also normally disagree with him on this particular one. I'm telling you that APC really needs El-Rufai than what El-Rufai needs from APC.
Okay, well, APC needs El-Rufai than what El-Rufai needs
among the president ministers. Can you point to 5 ministers that are standing in their roles?
I will struggle really to do that. I probably will scratch my head, rack my brain.
Maybe the one of a blue and marine economy.
No, it's completely missing in action.
That one is even
worse than missing in action.
Okay, let's leave it like that.
Still political roundtable mainland 19.3 FM. Malam Nasir El-Rufai in the news. He's been making moves. He's been making statements. He's also been getting the backlash.
And it's funny. There are people like Reno Mokre.
Yes.
And now attacking El-Rufai.
People who attacked the government El-Rufai was defending.
Yes. The man who organized the protests in London.
To embarrass the president.
But there is one lesson also that El-Rufai should also learn. That's the reason why politicians. It's good for El-Rufai because he's a politician. So I know this one will not be new to him. But those people that are not even eating anything from politics, that support politicians through their head, through their nose, the day you are going to see somebody that you are abusing, that is eating with somebody that you are supporting, that is why you are going to know. At every point in time,
don't pick up the fight of politicians.
You have to use your brain at every point in time.
All right, Master.
Yeah, and the funny thing, when these issues are going to be settled.
Yes.
These dogs barking. They will
not even be there. They will not invite
for my words. I mean,
using invited quote and unquote. Yes.
These guys won't even be present
when they are.
In fact, when they finish settling, these guys will start praising them too.
I thought
they'll be told to praise them.
I thought Fuad, there is somebody here in Lagos. I won't mention his name. That he hates Bola Ahmed Tinubu than anything. The day mistakenly I went on the news mission to his office and I went with one of his pally. Could you believe that we entered his room? And he was talking on video call, but because he was sitting and we were standing, I saw him and I discovered the person that he normally tongue clash every time on television is one he's talking to through video call. And could you believe that you will see some certain people in PDP, their son, their children, they got the job from APC, and you see some certain people also from APC that they are benefiting, their companies are benefiting from the PDP government. You that you are outside, that are using to abuse another person. At the end of the day,
you're getting nothing.
By the time their children want to marry, I'm very sure you are going to be carrying chair at that particular time.
Is it that one? There are a lot of people who made me their enemy because of my lack of support for the president at the primary level. In fact, one of them had the chutzpah to call me from London to say that he started hating me so much that at a point his wife had to appeal to him. I said, look, you are only injuring yourself because I didn't even know you were hating me. that's the funny thing. But you know what? He said that the things I warned them against, they are beginning to see it. And that was why he had the courage to call me. So I said to him, what if what I warned against didn't happen? I said, but the unfortunate thing, that's what one thing I have got to know is this. I've gotten to know is this. That the human being is so expansive in his emotion that even when he needs to pretend just to belong, he will pretend.
Yeah.
You saw Senator Ojudu here say that day.
Ojudu, yes.
Ojudu's daughter works for the president. But Ojudu does not hate the president. He said so. He says the things he said about the president are things that you can verify. And that's why he believes that it shouldn't work for him.
But the daughter is with the president.
And because the daughter is an adult.
She can take a decision.
You remember, even though Ojudu did not campaign for the president, the daughter was everywhere campaigning for the president.
Yes.
So you are outside fighting their battle.
You are outside fighting their battle. The man who has a boil on his leg, he say he can sleep.
You say no.
You, his neighbor,
say no. Go. We allow you to sleep.
Say, no, cannot sleep.
And now you know they sleep on his behalf. Well, let's quickly touch on this last issue before we open the phone lines. We have just about 6 minutes to look at the crisis within the PDP. You know, crack in PDP widens as governors move to assert control. The governor, we've seen a lot of all through the week. I think the PDP was in the news from the fight we saw
over who is the authentic
secretary, access into the secretariat or no access into the secretariat, to the BOT meeting, and then eventually the governors meeting, and then deciding to back Ude Okoye as the national secretary of the party against Anyanwu, because again the governors, for the first time we see the governors almost coming together to take a unanimous decision, a stand on the issue, whether we like it or not. The reports are that Ude Okoye is on the other side, while Anyanwu is a Wike loyalist, just like the acting national chairman of the party, Umar Damagun. What they have now said,
Damagun has taken a step backwards from that alliance.
Yeah, but people look, what they are saying that call for the next meeting. I think they already fixed March for the next meeting, and what they are saying is that look, let a proper national working committee be set up. Damagun has to go. He's been acting for too long. Yes.
No matter what Wike does, the governors are the owners of the party. You will see it. They are the ones. Look, Wike has got.
Anyanwu is saying that look, the governors are just another kind of power brokers within the party. They are not the leaders of the party.
Let me tell you,
that's what Anyanwu is saying.
Anyanwu should develop some conscience, because you can't resign from your position to go and contest for the governorship election in Imo State,
and you want to come
and then come back and say because you didn't win, you are back to your position. Look, whether they like it or not, you cannot put Wike against the 12 PDP governors, no matter the resources he has.
Yes,
and that is the truth of the matter. Damagun, whether he likes it or not, will leave the PDP. The position is currently occupying. The governors are going to put the party together. But let me tell you why.
You think they are going to do that?
The PDP now goes beyond a political party for those who identify as members of the PDP alone. The PDP now has now become a vehicle for the expression of resentment, dissatisfaction, and hope for all the political IDPs in the country now.
Internally displaced politicians,
yes.
Those who are not in this government.
Yes.
And there are a lot of them.
So they see the PDP as
and you can see,
but the PDP has been losing people.
But they're also getting.
They are taking IDPs.
But they're also getting people.
But they are taking people who are not displaced.
No, what is happening is
Nede Nwoko has just left the PDP to the APC.
You see what will happen in the next election.
Yes.
In Delta State. See what is happening is this bandwagon effect.
Okay.
That you see when they are talking in the National Assembly, of course, and
are you saying for those that are, and
the
APC and those that are joining the APC?
Yes.
Okay.
Those that are joining, and is that kind of a man who does that kind of arrangement, and that itself has a potential for crisis
for the APC, because
the APC members who are in the National Assembly and some who should be there but lost election, who are still nursing the hope. When you now give ticket to those who are just joining the party from Labour Party and from the PDP.
So let's look at Nede Nwoko, for example, Senator Nede Nwoko. So he has not coming from his constituency. I'm sure there's somebody of the APC. Yeah.
Because he's a PDP man.
No, what I'm saying is that now that he has moved into the APC, I'm sure there's an APC member who is also eyeing the ticket of the APC in that constituency.
Or they want him to step down for the college.
So Anek will want to pick that ticket. So is that what you are saying?
That's what I'm saying. That itself is going to lead to crisis. And what you will find is that some of those people who are in APC now will move to PDP because they will say it. Now, can you see something that is similar happening in the APC and the PDP? PDP had promised to stay in power for 60 years.
But you
realize that after Obasanjo's 8 years tenure, and then you had Yar'Adua who died, and then Jonathan came in, the PDP lost power at the 16th year.
Yes.
APC has been in power now for about 10 years.
Yes.
Going to 10 years.
Going to 10 years. But the internal problems of APC, if they are not careful, they might not even go up to 16 years.
Of the PDP.
Of the PDP. And so what I'm saying is that, look, this PDP has stopped being the political party that you and I used to know. The PDP now has become a collection center.
Once you are displaced, just come.
And you are angry, just come. You see what is going on now? How politicians from the... Okay, in the course of the week, Waziri Adamawa was in Katsina, his adopted state, to visit President Muhammadu Buhari. The former Attorney General of the Federation, Malami, was also in Abuja making some moves with some people.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying
El-Rufai was also seen with some.
Yeah, and I'm not saying that they are going to succeed. But look, this is their best opportunity. You know why? Right now, APC is doing the job of the opposition for them.
Making it so easy for them.
Making it easy. But you know, it was in this studio we said that the fact that the government in power is performing so badly is not a guarantee
that the opposition will win.
The opposition will win, yes.
So it depends how the opposition organize themselves
and make use of that opportunity.
And people shouldn't give so much attention to money. I've told people in 2015 the PDP had more money than the APC could muster.
More governors.
And they still lost.
They had governors. In fact, they postponed the election to ensure that the APC run out of money.
And yet the APC still won.
There was nothing they did not throw at the APC.
But Sir Curtis, whether you like it or not, the APC coming to power in 2015, there are people who have said that, look, Jonathan's appointment of Jega is a decision that he may quietly, at his quiet time, continue to regret. Because again, we've seen elections in the past. I can't forget the Morrissey era. And also that election that we conducted. There are people who also said that, look,
Jega did the right thing.
Yeah, that can we have a situation too where someone will do the right thing if, for example, the APC loses the presidential election in 2027? Do you think that it's going to be so easy? Like we saw it in 2015, the transition process?
It is because of corruption in our country that when we are thinking of conducting election or contesting election, we are looking for who will be favorable to us instead of going out there to campaign and win the
votes of the people.
You understand? And that's the problem. There are a lot of people today who should be in politics, our best and ablest, who should be in politics.
When you look at the system,
but who don't want to go into politics because of what they see. And that's the truth of the matter. And until you can get your best into the politics, because politics is the greatest force for transforming
the society, a country.
So, but in this part of the world, what we have done is that, okay, you know, I remember during the primaries of the APC, there were people who told me that, you know, in this country, your candidate is too soft. This country needs a criminal, somebody who is strong-headed.
Like they all say, Ʞᴜᴜ you say you are going to fight to elect thieves, to fight the system. But let's quickly look. Open our phone lines. I think we've been able to touch on all these issues, right from the crisis in the eastern part of the Congo to the Lagos politics, the GAC that looks divided, and then of course we talked about the PDP, Malam Nasir El-Rufai. It's time to open the phone line. 09136 0000410 09136 0000410. Hello, good evening.
Hello.
Yes, good evening.
Good evening, Fuad.
Yes. Your name and location. 1 minute, sir. Where are you calling from?
Yes, this is Andose. I'm calling from Vestatao.
Okay, Mr. Andose, please.
Say so much. The M23 may get to Kinshasa.
M23 may do what? May get to Kinshasa. You think it's not possible?
Their ultimate aim to Kinshasa. Yes. I think they may have the capacity, the military capacity to get to Kinshasa. But because of the pressure of the international community, they will not do that.
Okay.
They will not do that. Because already Germany yesterday, one of the supporters of Kagame, look, Rwanda is still depends so much on the
Western support,
support, financial support, because of the genocide. So Germany already reduced some aspect of their cooperation with Rwanda. So yesterday they announced it. So what the M23 want to do is to get some key town. After this Goma, they want to get the second biggest city, which is Bukavu. So with that, they will now have a stronger position to discuss with Kabila, with
Felix, Tshisekedi.
Yeah, because Tshisekedi has always refused to attend. He said he doesn't have any problem with M23, that he has a problem. He wants to discuss face to face with Kagame. And Kagame says your problem is a Rwandan problem, it's a Congolese problem. I don't have anything there.
And we know it can't be a Congolese problem alone.
Yeah, so now that if you see two big cities like that, this man will have to change his position.
Felix will have to negotiate. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, you have to negotiate with the M23 now. And the M23 is not asking for much. M23 is saying, look, you can't be treating your citizens as a conquered citizen, the Tutsi. Because the colonial master came when the Tutsi were there. They divided the Tutsi into different countries.
Yeah, just threw them around.
Yes, and an average Tutsi in Congo is regarded as a second-class citizen. In fact, they call them the Banya Mulenge, which is a very derogatory word. They mean nothing. And this president who is in power, with Barista said very well, who did not win election, he came second. During the last year campaign, when he won the second, he called him Manamboka. That is the son of the soil.
So creating that ethnic division again.
Yes, referring to other people as not bona fide Congolese. You understand? And this man is a very incompetent. You know, just like Barista said, he came second. Martin Fayulu came first. But because Martin Fayulu is a hardliner, he said when he gets to power, he will review all the contracts awarded by former government to the Chinese and every send people to.
So they find a way to just manipulate the process and brought Tshisekedi in.
The former president now told the electoral commission man that, look, since my candidate came first, don't allow this man to be president. Take the second person. And the electoral commission chairman allowed. They did other shenanigans. After the man got to power, he neglected. He did not treat the electoral commission chairman very well. The man now went to the east. Before you know it, he was in Kenya organizing with the M23, which they now put him the leader of M23. He's the one leading that Benananga. He's the one leading the M23 now. The electoral commission man. The organization that saw the president winning, becoming president. So the problem is, to me, is a very.
All right, thank you, Andose. Thank you so much. Thank you for your depth of knowledge on this particular crisis. I have to give you that amount of time because of what you had actually brought to the table as to your knowledge of the issue. Thank you so much, Andose from First Stack, for that one. Hello, good evening.
Good evening, sir.
Yes, good evening.
Belina.
Yes, where are you calling from this evening?
From Mapuluku, of course.
Yes. Please go on, sir.
The first caller got 4 minutes, so you go give me my.
No. I told you that the rule is 1 minute. So please just go on with your 1 minute, Mr. Kangwe.
It's okay, sir.
Yes.
The people are talking about the GSC being divided on Obasa issue. What concerns GSC with Obasa? I don't understand what is GSC in the first place. And which law created that GSC?
It's a party thing. It's within the party.
Party what?
The APC.
So if a governor comes now and announces all of them should go home, what will happen?
No, it's not for look at governor's advisory. They even advise the governor. It's an advisory council of the APC.
If the governor doesn't need the advice,
he can.
It's not that thing they're doing in Lagos here, back. Just carry some people and call and say the advisory council. For what? Lagos is just here. Lagos, there's nothing happening in Lagos.
We are about to start that thing in the east too.
You're telling me about advisory council.
Wait, Mr. Gaw, you are from which state?
Sir?
You are from which state?
I'm not from Nigeria.
Okay, no one. All right, thank you so much. Thank you, Mr. Kangwe. Hello, good evening. Israel, please turn down the volume of your radio set, please.
Good evening. Good evening.
Yeah, good evening.
Barista, good evening.
Good evening.
Brother, good evening.
I greet you.
Your name, sir. Where are you calling from?
My name is Lloyd Kelly from Mirakbaja.
All right, please. Okay.
About the first call, I think I'm so happy that people allow the guy to speak because if somebody is speaking, not every time would they speak. When somebody is speaking, if he's going somewhere, they should allow him to speak. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Mr. Lucky. Yeah, please go on. Oh, okay. If you just get to thank us, really. Hello, good evening. Hello,
good evening.
Yeah, good evening.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, with you. Good evening, sir.
Thank you. God bless you.
God bless
My
you.
My name is Prince Wires.
Yes.
Calling you from Amuodosi.
All right, sir. Please go on, sir.
Let me sit at you. Number one, El-Rufai is very important to APC, but I'm no President Tinubu. When you go far away, you know how to bring them back. So if the man still back to APC, fine good. But we should remember, Tinubu don't win Kaduna State. When he was the governor then. And this present governor of Kaduna State will be Tinubu and be doing the
PDM or Kaduna South or Kaduna North. So for me, let that leave that alone. But for the PDP, yes, PDP can come to power 2027, but now they did scatter two secretary party to opposition. And the party want to win, they don't have really this country before. They're not fighting themselves. What are they thinking beyond ones? So they better put the house in order for them to come around if APC mess up.
All right.
But as it is now, we never get that effort together.
All right. Thank you so much, Prince Wise, all the way from Amur of 09136 000 410. Hello, good evening.
Good evening, sir.
Yes, good evening.
Yeah,
okay, Comrade Koboko. Good evening.
Thank you. I said that the PDP can win the election, but people are no longer eating too much considering how the election went last 2 years. And the data apathy people are taking, because me myself, I've already swear that if I go vote, and make a people have spiked me. So what are you people doing about the judiciary and these people are apathy? Because I guess I have several words.
I was struggling really to hear Comrade Koboko.
You say, what are you doing about INEC and the judiciary? Because of as a result of last election, people have appetite towards
the election. Well, it's not our job to do anything. We only say what we need to say. Hello, good evening. Hello.
Good evening.
Yes, good evening, Gege Joshua.
Yeah, but I greet you. Good evening.
Good evening.
How is it this evening?
I greet you.
Well, we are on a very low key. We are just
all right.
We thank God for everything.
All right, please go on, Gege Joshua.
Yeah. As to this issue of Obasa, I don't think people should take it personal because it's a party affair. You understand me? Just national, it's in our national dailies and we should be talking about it. But then people should not take it too personal. Anything the GAC, the GAC, they have the power to recommend to the party or to the president or even the governor. So people should not take it personal. It's a party affair. Some of all these things we just bother ourselves over them. Even if they recommend that they should reinstate Obasa today, it's still a party affair. So thank you.
Thank you so much, Gege Joshua. Yeah, appreciate that. Hello, good evening. Take this last one call and then we'll take messages. Good evening, yes.
Yes. Go forward. My name is Malam Salah.
Oh, Malam Salah. In a while.
Good evening. Yes, sir.
Okay. How is Alagbago this evening?
Well, okay. Cool and calm, sir.
All right, please go on, sir.
Yes, sir. Ogafort,
yes.
I've told you a long time ago, sometime last year, that with Ganduje as the chairman of the party and Bola Tinubu as the president of the country, it's not it.
It's not what?
Hello, Ogafort.
I can hear you.
It's very unfortunate.
I can hear you. Malam Salah.
I know. Yeah, you can hear me. But in my time, I don't know. Say the don't
okay.
But you know what?
Yeah.
You understand? Bola Tinubu had all what it takes required of politician. He has the money. He has the experience as a politician, and he has power. So every politician, this is what he needs. And this very president can use them at any time. You understand? So. And in 2015, we have United Opposition Party. Is it the same now?
No.
So, and this problem of opposition will linger down to
2027.
Yes, 2027 thereabout. So, I remove God aside because God gives power. I'm taking as a human being, politically.
You think the opposition is Facebook and then we'll come back to take in the more calls. On Facebook, we have Atonaka Ode Samuel just giving us thumbs up. We have Abdurrafiu Alabalakwe. We're saying, good evening, great men in the studio. Ogbeni Alabalakwe from Sabo Ijewoniba. Let me start my thoughts with Malam Nasir El-Rufai's comment. Look, it's unnecessary for APC and even President Bola Tinubu to listen to this man now before it's necessary, not unnecessary, to listen to him now before it will be too late for our party. Look, yes, we might be enjoying our leverages now, but El-Rufai was part of those who brought President Tinubu to power. Truth be told, if not for God and Malam Nasir El-Rufai's effort, President Bola Tinubu would have won the hearts of majority northern voters. So anything El-Rufai is saying today is compulsory for our party. It's a bit clumsy there, but I think a major part of the message has been taken already. Ando said Campbell is saying, Good evening. The first time the M23 took control of the city of Goma in 2018, it was President Obasanjo, the then African Union mediator, is the one who brokered peace between M23 and the then government of Congo that is there in the DRC. We have Brazil Chica saying crashes in the PDP expelling Wike when it was clear he worked against the party during the election. So at this point, what any member who wants to move for enlightening us about the crisis in the Eastern Congo. From the look of things, is that the Chinese are fast replacing the West in creating crisis in Africa just because of economic gains, terrorism, and also ethnic cleansing in some parts of the country. The fight for mineral resources and influenced by the West and Asia with the aim of milking mineral resources is a major reason why there will always be terrorism and fighting in the continent. All rich countries will continue to have instability, which in turn favors these countries of interest. I don't think the fighting will ever stop unless natural resources dries up and the greed and corruption of humankind is tamed. Only then can the fighting in the Congo stop. We have Babatunde Ajewole who is saying, good evening to each and every one of you in the studio. The issue of Mr. Obasa, I said it last week that it will not go so soon. One of the reasons is that Obasa knows in and out of Lagos politics, and he also knows many secrets of Mr. President. Therefore, it will be very unwise of them to treat him badly because of coming election here in Lagos State. And then we have Ben Stephen who is saying Obasa cannot be pushed aside. He has really tried for us in Agege and Orile Agege. That's from Ben Stephen. Then we have Father Ebumio Simorajo saluting our moral all the way from the 9th Brigade Military Barracks in Ikeja Cantonment. James Nwachi is saying, distinguished gentlemen in the studio, I celebrate you gallantly. For Obasa, I want to ask if the GAC is divided. But Mr. Curtis, don't you think we need to find out which side of the divide that Mr. President would align with? They've told you it's 2 against 38. 2 out of 38. That's not a significant division, if you ask me. And how come Mr. President has spoken since over 2 weeks that he was removed? Or can we say he's not aware? Do you think his silence means approval of the new speaker? Remember his meeting with the GSC members in the house during Christmas. He wasn't happy that the speaker was disrespecting the governor, James Ogbonna from Oshodi. I don't think the president needs to say anything. He must have given the signal before Obasa was removed.
Language.
It might even be a signal. And that's it. We have a Tondaka this summer who is saying, God bless you all in the studio. With all due respect and humility, I must say without missing words that the ousted Honorable Obasa is only doing skirmishing political maneuvering among the GAC to reclaim lost constitutional seat. Factually, the Senate executive have already received and recognized the current speaker for now. Secondly, there is no fear from the camp of the former governor El-Rufai. From all intent, majority of the politicians with El-Rufai are political moles. When the time comes, the reality will be known. Okay, that's from Atonda Kayode Samuel, 09136000410. Hello, good evening.
Hello, good evening, Mr. Fawad.
Yes, good evening, sir.
Thank you very much. This is Madam Bello Usman. I am calling from Idris.
Yes, Madam Bello, please go on, sir. Pull out on road.
It's village people.
Hello, good evening. Hello. Okay, 09136000410. 09136000410. Okay, you can take that. Hello, good evening.
Hello, good evening. Good evening, gentlemen.
Yes, good evening, sir.
My name is Emmanuel, coming from Ogun State, Congo.
Okay, please go on, sir.
Let me start from Congo, the Congo DR problem.
Yes.
You see, my problem with the problem going on in Congo DR is that when the African leaders try to cooperate with the white people to destabilize Africa, that's what is really my problem here. Not someone like Paul Kagame cooperating with the whites to destabilize Africa. And who are they selling the point to them? It's not the same white. So they are joining the whites to make us more slaves in our country. That's my problem with DR Congo. I'm talking about Obasa. If Obasa let him go anywhere he like to go to, even if he have all the GAC, whatever you call them, behind him, he will never succeed unless President Tinubu is behind him. So that's my opinion.
Okay, thank you. Everything still comes back to President Tinubu. I think that's what you're saying there. Hello, good evening. Hello?
Hello, good evening.
Yeah, good evening.
This is Kenny from Mushin.
Yes, Mr. Kenny from Mushin. Please go on.
Mr. Fawad, very good evening to you all.
We greet you too.
On the issue of DRC Congo,
you need to turn down the volume of your radio set. We're having that feedback. There's an echo coming.
On the issue of DR Congo,
all right.
I hope the Nigerian people here will take note of what is happening over there, so that Nigeria will not be turned to that kind of a thing in terms of mineral resources in the north over there. And that's number one. Number two, there's nothing we can do. If we defected to other political parties, he always be washing his dirty in the public. He cannot go anywhere. On the issue of PDP, I don't think they will fly. From the beginning, the time of the governor's forum, Bala Mohammed, has no moral local standard to mediate in the issue of PDP because he has taken side. He has been to be somebody on the other side of the line. So they will continue, even if they all the mass together. This man too, Aya will also fly. There will be litigation.
Aya is already in court. He has lost at the High Court. He has lost at the Appeal Court. He's in the Supreme Court now. So
yeah, it's going on. What about if we win the Supreme Court?
Well, it's not impossible.
What will happen?
It's not impossible.
Well, that's it. So this crisis will linger on to 2027.
If he wins,
because the other side will not. They will not wait. Once they make move around, they always take another move to make sure that they stabilize the program.
All right, thank you, Mr.
Additional Atiku and other people. When it comes to the issue of
okay, hello, good evening.
Good evening, Mr. Fuad.
Yes, good evening.
Yes, sir. I'm by Mr. Curtis, Mr. Gbero.
We greet you.
This is Babalola calling from.
Babalola from where?
From Magodo.
Okay, Magodo, please go on, sir.
Okay, sir. I like what you people have been analyzing since. Well done, sir.
Thank you.
Just want to talk about El-Rufai. Where what goes round comes around. Remember how he makes some incitement statement during 2015. When foreigners came to this country, they will become body bag. So now it's they have done to him. So that's why it's good for someone to be thinking of the future, because you don't know what will happen. Now they have served him his own breakfast from APC. But they are still many like that. They should be waiting. They will still treat them. They will get them for where they belong to.
But yes, good evening.
Thank you very much. My network was bad when
I think it's better now, yes.
This is Madam Bello Usman.
Yes, please go on, sir.
Yes, it's not all about party this time around. Any party, either the name of the party is shit or whatever that the name of the party is before 2027 by the grace of God. I think election always usually been announced on Sunday or Monday. Before 12 o'clock, we'll know all the truth. Because currently, as I speak with you, there is nothing, completely nothing is working in this country. And personally, you know, Mr. Fuad, I travel from here to my own state to vote this current government. But if the most important thing is that El-Rufai and the others should forget about the PDP and Labour Party. Yes, and go to any other party. We will go there with them, because this is not the government that we expect that will take Nigerians to our jail. So,
okay.
By the grace of God, the time will tell.
All right, thank you, Madam Bello, all the way from Idimu. Hello, good evening. All right, let's okay. We'll just take two more calls and we'll deal with some of the messages we have on Facebook. Hello, good evening.
Good evening, Mr. Clark.
Yeah, good evening.
Madam, good evening, sir. Good evening.
Good evening.
Good evening, sir.
Good evening.
Your name, where are you calling from?
This is Mr. Bestman.
Okay, please go on.
There's sorry, my God, I don't think you work with. There's one topic was raised this weekend. It was one Baba Bisa Konde was saying that obedience that cause answer.
No. Well, at least there are platforms who have discussed that. So we saw it. So it's just that we don't find it so important to bring on the round table, you know. So.
But Baba life for obedience now.
Well, you are already saying it, but can you focus on what we have discussed here?
I want
we don't have it we don't have it on the menu, so so if Baba is right,
as they said, PDP will not get us of mind. Then they said, go raise people that inside the APC. that will not let them see rest of mind because now making sure don't come outside. El-Rufai don't come outside. So the ones that are on the ground is coming.
Okay, all right.
So, all right.
Thank you, Mr. Desmond. What else is because of our today's interview? I feel that no, it's not as important like some of the issues we've discussed this evening. Hello, good evening.
Hello.
Yeah, good evening.
Yeah, good evening. This is Peter from Inshallah.
Okay, Mr. Peter, please go on, sir.
Yes, the El-Rufai are talking about. You know, if the president did not take him back against for his re-election in 2027, you know what will cost him? You see what the policy of subsidy return will cost him is exactly what El-Rufai after his government will cost him.
Okay, all right. Let's just deal with the messages we have on Facebook, and then we'll call it a day on the show. We have Lukman Oladipukpo who is saying, greetings from Dakar, Senegal. Adegbadu Nigeria, you great men should keep it up. Nigeria must be great again. And we also hope that you're also enjoying yourself there in Dakar, Senegal. Then we have Olayin Kalawa saying, for peace to reign in PDP, it's advisable to suspend Wike and Atiku from the party. Mr. Curtis, no, is that possible? Or do you think that will bring any peace?
What is Atiku's offense? Old age?
He said the two of them.
Is old age an offense?
Well, somebody must have done something wrong against the party.
I don't understand.
Atiku was a candidate. He won the primaries.
Yes.
And he's still in the party.
Defeating Wike.
He never did any anti-party anything. So you just think that the two of them should just go for peace to reign. All right, thank you so much, Olayin Kalawa. Then Abdul Akbalakwe is insisting that there are still some part of his message, but you send a very lengthy message. That's the problem. It's always too long. Well, I think I've had enough time to deal with the remaining part of your message. And he's saying that, look, some people who are benefiting now from APC never worked or voted for APC. People like Daniel Bwala and others. And DRC issue can only be resolved by AU or UN. They have been there since they don't resolve anything.
What are they going to do?
And on the side of Obasa, please, APC leaders in Lagos should please let peace reign. We don't want resemblance of political development in River State in Lagos. And lastly, PDP should go and sit down. Failed party. APC till 100 years in ruling.
Okay.
So see what you want me to read now.
Abia.
Okay. Thank you so much.
PDP said
You know the irony. If I tell you what I'm seeing with this your message. Right. Can we? Okay. So, Mr. Curtis Adigba, it's been very interesting engagement, really, from the DRC to Obasa's issue. We've talked about El-Rufai, the crisis in the PDP. What's your final take this evening?
So, on the DRC, I think African countries should begin to rearrange their continent. You know, this artificial division that ensure that brothers and sisters
are thrown to different parts of
different countries, and where they are not in significant number to alter the landscape. This issue, this lingering feeling that we are second-class citizens in our own country, we continue to promote conflict. You know, just like you used to have in Nigeria. And on the issue of Obasa, you know, we have always said that, look, the train left the station before he arrived with a ticket. I believe that if Obasa was in town, he would not have been impeached.
If he was actually in town?
Yes, because the knife is sharper, the eye is sharper than the knife. Some of those guys cannot look at him. You know, other than that, I think for El-Rufai, they should watch him carefully. He's not the man to joke with.
No. All right, thank you so much, Mr. Curtis. It's been very engaging conversation with you. God bless you, sir. Building, your final take for this evening.
Well, for me, I think this is the time that Nigerians, you don't need to be a politician before you involve in engagement. This is the time we need to be talking about our country. The politicians, we need to talk about them. What have they done, and review them, so that we can be taking it up from there and watching till 2027.
Okay, we should engage our leaders, ask them questions, question their performance, look at the things they promised us, so that we can, of course, continue the conversation until the general elections in 2027. My name is Said Fuad.
Everybody promised.
They promised. What are Magbuale? Where are you on Magbuale?
What did I promise you?
All right, this is where we call it a day. Political Roundtable, Mainland 98.3 FM. Let's do this again next week.